Racist mom harasses me and my family at IHOP. I, 19F, along with my mom, 50F, and older sister, 22F, were eating at an IHOP at night. Lucky us, we were seated in a booth next to Karen, mid-40s, and her maybe 4-year-old son, with some other people dining with them who are not important. We got there at the tail end of their meal, but they were sitting and chatting as their waiter brought over the receipt. The entire time, the kid was peeking over the booth periodically and reaching out to grab my sister's or my hair. His hands were sticky with maple syrup, or bouncing so hard on the cushion that it shook our side. We didn't say anything, as it's generally not worth it to cause a scene to people who we thought were already leaving. We got our food and were taking pictures as it was the Willy Wonka theme and we're prone to taking pictures of unique experiences. I got this sparkly hot chocolate and my mom and sister got this bucket of mimosas or some large alcoholic beverage to share. The family began to leave and we kind of sighed in relief. The kid, however, stayed around as Karen was the last to leave. He peeked over at our table and looked at our food and tried to touch it, which we quickly moved our food away from. He stopped trying to touch it and instead began to cough directly at us, onto our food and us. I could feel a splat of kid saliva on my hand. My mom had enough at that point and looked at Karen and asked her to mind her kid. Karen, he's not sick. He just has asthma, as if coughing on our food would be okay if he wasn't sick. Mom, he is coughing on us. Move him. Karen, he's not sick. It's not that big of a deal. Mom, so you are okay if I spit on your food? Karen, how dare you? And then Karen throws a cup she stole from another diner's table full of hot coffee at my mom. Luckily, it splashed onto the ground and didn't hurt anything, but my mom was livid at that point and I had 911 dialed up and ready to go. My sister and I were periodically interjecting with curse words and defending our family, but my mom was already done with it. Karen stalked off with her kid, shouting for us to go back to China, you chinks. Here, I shouted back that she should go back to whatever country she's 2% of, and that real Americans don't need you here. Karen screamed at a server that we assume she knew personally that this is why COVID was so bad, because us chinks were bringing diseases. As she was stalking off, my mom got up, threw a fork at her back and started to scream right back. I had 911 on call listening in and had the police come, giving the address of the IHOP, taking a picture of the Karen, everything I thought we might have needed. All the while, Karen was screaming that she had a child with her and why would my mom be so violent and throwing more slurs and racist accusations at us. Like she didn't throw the first punch/cup of coffee. The Karen left. No one tried to stop her as the cops weren't there yet other than my mom who was yelling that we would report her for this. We got moved to a different table and got some replacements for food, which none of us had really eaten yet. Unfortunately, we didn't get a replacement for the mimosas, even though that was by far the most expensive thing, because alcohol wasn't replaceable. My mom later complained about that too because the staff did nothing to stop her from harassing us, didn't contact the authorities on their own and some even seemed to know her on a personal level. In the middle of our mostly replaced meal, the cops came and got our statement, to which my mom absolutely said press charges. Turns out, it's not so easy and we're still in paperwork/reporting hell, but my mom is quite adamant in continuing on with it as she hates being treated like a second-class citizen, especially in front of her family. We're not going back to that IHOP anymore.